I
Mhm.
remember what it's like to go from 50 to 322. What I did was I started charging 75 an hour.
Okay.
Then I noticed, okay, I spent all day charging $75. Nobody blinked an eye. So then I
Nope.
raised it again 2 days later to 125. Nobody blinked an eye. Then I raised it again to 175. No one blinked an eye.
Mm.
So that's what I tell people when I consult is, hey, I know I just ran your numbers. The numbers you gave me, the expenses in your business, these numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. This is how much you need to charge, but I'm not telling you to go out and start charging this right now. Just try with one client. Just raise it a little bit. I guarantee you they won't blink an eye. And you know why? Because you know that there's big agencies and there's big companies that are charging 3 times what you're charging. You know that. So then why would they blink an eye at you? The only reason you think that is because your own mental limitation of your view of yourself.
All right, what's going on? And welcome to Legacy's Journey Season 3, where we talk about creating what outlives you. I'm your host, Cameron Williams, owner of Kinley Consulting, where we focus on strategic financial growth for marketing agencies so that they can live the dream life they deserve and not be a slave to their business. And we do that through fractional CFO services and consulting. Now, y'all, we on Season 3. And so, every year we've kind of done a theme, right? So season 1, it was kind of like just getting our feet wet. These are dope people. Season 2, we were like, you know what? Let's find some people who are $1 million agency owners and get them to share their story. Well, you know what? We've gotten to meet a lot of great people. We've got to connect with a lot of them, some in person, through conferences, through social media. And this guy, I've talked to him before. I was like, hey, I think you should get on some other podcasts. So, we were like, hey, we're doing season 3. Who wants to come on and talk about growing your socials, your LinkedIn, YouTube, growing your business, etc.? And this guy reached out. He was like, yo, let's do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got Michael Johnson here. So, sir, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Man, I'm trying to stay warm because it is cold here in Georgia.
Yeah. I'm up here in North Carolina. It's freezing.
Yeah, see, and we're not used to this kind
Yeah,
of weather.
exactly.
It's like 28 degrees outside.
Wow.
Yeah, see, exactly.
Yeah.
So, tell the people name of the company and what you do to serve clients.
All right. Yeah. So my background is, I'm in the home service space. I've owned an HVAC company for the last 20 years. And that's kind of like my baby there that I raised and that my actual babies are taking over. I have a 19-year-old son that works in that and kind of runs that. And I also do business coaching and consulting for HVAC, plumbing, electrical, which includes an insane amount of marketing, helping people tell their stories on social medias, helping people create their brand promise, and just kind of get conversations started with potential clients. Because that's where it starts. It starts with a conversation, right?
Coach and consult them about their brand. What are some of like the common issues when they hire you and bring you on that you're seeing across the board between one of these industries?
So some of the common issues, there's a ton of them that are more home-based. And then there's a ton of other issues where you talk about marketing side, right? So on the operation side, some of the common issues are not knowing your numbers, not being priced correctly. Those are just your common issues. The opposite side of it, and this is where it goes into marketing companies, because I'm on this side, marketing companies are on this side, and there's a huge where they kind of speak opposite languages, right? I understand what I understand with my customers on a personal level. I'm in their home, I'm talking to them, versus marketing and talking to people who don't know me, they don't like me, they don't trust me. This is a marketing world. And a lot of times they don't understand that side of it. They want quick results, they want customers, but they don't want them the way you're going to bring them as a marketing. And you've seen it before. Marketing companies and home service companies, they fight like cats and dogs. They don't understand each other. They don't like each other. And a lot of times that's the issue, is explaining to home service companies what the marketing company is going to do versus what you are going to do.
Right,
Right.
right. And to your point, when you said about the not knowing the numbers, like we literally just got a call yesterday from a roofer, and it was kind of the same thing. He's like, "Hey, we make a lot of money, but I need some help. I want to be organized. I want
Yeah.
the IRS coming." So I think it's so interesting to see all across the board.
Yeah.
Hey, these different people are all running through the same thing. So let's go a little bit into the numbers.
Yeah.
When you say they don't know their numbers, okay, now see, I told you you're gonna say something good. Now let's go here. Already off the rip, just starting it off. You said you started this company and then you let your son take it over and he's pretty much running it. Now let's start there because of course legacy's journey, a big part of this is how do we build something that we can leave to our family, right? What legacy are we leaving behind? So if you don't mind, bring us into the thought of how did you introduce your son to the business, right? I'm sure he was riding in the truck with you at a young age. And then talk about that transition of how you're like, you know what, he can do this and he can run this and supporting him in that.
I'll tell you what, it's a process, right? So I have 3 sons, right? So I've been married 20 years, wonderful woman. I'm looking forward to the next 20, the next 20, next 20.
There you go.
And she gave me 3 boys, 3 wonderful boys. One's 19, one's 17, and one is 11.
Okay.
So around the time when my older boys were maybe 10, the 17-year-old and the 19-year-old, I started asking older people who have transferred their business to their kids, how did you do it? And I started asking kids who were older than me that have taken over their parents' businesses, what made you want to work in your parents'? So I started getting that information when my kids were like 10 and 11 so that I could foster it in a way that they would want to work with me when they get older. So it really started there. And you're exactly right. I had the kids in the truck, on job sites. And a lot of that was really mainly focusing on my interaction with them so that they would have good memories and good emotions about the business. So that when they get older, it won't be man, I can't wait to get away from my dad's business. I can't wait. I want it to be more of I really love this. There's good memories hanging out on the job. Over So around the time when the kids are getting older, Michael is last year of high school, that's when he started saying, hey, I want to work in the business. But it was fostered, right? And still to this day, he's in the office doing marketing ROI reports. He's 19 years old. He's a freshman in college. He's doing those reports. And it's, for me, about coming in and saying, good job. If he makes mistakes, walking him through those mistakes so that he can continue to want to be a part of this. And then eventually take it over, send me a check every month, and I can go do, something else. Right.
Okay. So you said some more good stuff. Okay. So you fostered this from a young age. You got other mentorship to be like, how do I make sure I get him to enjoy it? Now, so I know in this podcast before we've talked about when it's your kid, do you just throw them in there and let them figure it out? Or do you tell them, go to college, work a year outside of me so you learn from somebody else and come? What made you say, hey, do both? Like he's in college currently, but then he's also working in the business. Like what helped you guys to kind of narrow down on that particular path for him?
Yeah. So my kids, they went to an early college. So they got their associate's degree when they graduated high school. Right. And the remaining 2 years for the bachelor is free for us because of the early college program. But even if it wasn't for that, I feel like, hey, you want to set up your kids for success if they take over the business and run the business, or if they decide, hey, I'm working in the business 3-4 years, this isn't for me, that they should have something where they can go on the outside. So that's what it was for me, for my oldest son. He wanted to just work. And we kind of forced him, me and his mother, hey, you need to get your degree. You need to get this. You may never use it, but in the event that you need it, you'll have it. So that's what that's about, right? So he goes to school, gets out at 12 o'clock, works until 5 o'clock, works part-time. And in the next 2 years when he graduates, hopefully, he'll be able to just kind of run it. It's a process.
Okay. I like where this going. Cause see, I got 3 kids too. And
Mhm.
so right now, all they know is like they know tax season is coming. So they're just like, when are you gonna start
Yeah,
tax season? And I'm like,
yeah,
why are you so sad? Because you work so much during tax season. And it's not
yeah,
like they don't get any time or nothing. It's
yeah.
just like when they come in or when they're going to bed, they're coming in my office say, I'm going to bed. So, you know.
And it's those
Um,
heuristics. You've heard of, that word, heuristics, where a heuristic is an emotion you get that's tied to something, right?
mhm,
So we all have that. There's certain people in our life when we hear their name, we just think like, ah, or a certain thing or certain career field. That's what I wanted to work on. What is the emotion tied to daddy's business? Is it when I hear the word taxes, when your kids get 40, when they hear taxes, do they just get this horrible feeling or do they get a good feeling? And a lot of it is tied to when they're growing up with that kind of thing. And for me, I never wanted it to be, they'll come in the office when I'm doing podcasts. My kids will come in here. And my
mhm.
first knee jerk reaction is to, hey, I'm recording. But I don't want to associate that, so they'll come in, they're quiet, they'll sit there so that they can have a positive experience so that when they get older, they can say, hey, this might be fun, Dad. Let me ask you about this. And then I can just kind of take them under my wing. So, yeah,
Yeah, and
interesting.
see, my challenge is kind of the opposite because, like, can they come in? Of course, if I'm in the middle of talking or something, I'd be like, hold on.
Yeah.
But I think to your point, they're still because they're 9, 7, and 2. They only understand like, well, we know Dad has to work to make money,
Yeah.
but in their world, they just want to play all the time once
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. Yeah. Totally different age. Yeah.
yeah, so they're at that stage, so they're just like, you're about to start tax season. And in my head, I'm like, I still help put y'all in the bed and all
Yeah.
that type stuff. So I'm like, I don't get it. But I think
Yeah.
it's just, man, he ain't gonna come like we'll eat together, but then like I'll be like, all right, I'm going back in the office. They just want me to be out there to be out there. So to your point, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how when they make that transition to like that middle school, high school age, will they view it differently? But I like what you said about you have to kind of foster it. And these are good things. These are good parts. We're able to do
Yeah.
these things because of that. So that's great. Okay. Now, one thing you slipped in there that you
Mhm.
just kind of, it was real slick how you did it. You said that you coach a lot of home based businesses like HVACs, things like that. Now, we
Yeah.
know a lot of agencies, they love to service those, the roofers, the HVAC companies. And before we got on, you were telling me about how what are they communicating to you and where's that communication issue?
Okay. So from the jump. All right. So when I talk to a home service company, my first line of questions is one, what's your revenue? How much are we making? Right?
Do they know this number?
No.
Oh,
Okay. So then, okay.
you're
But
like, no.
this is what most of them will say is, and I'll raise both hands. I've been in business 20 years. It took
Mm-hmm.
me an embarrassing number of years to get to know my numbers. It wasn't the first year, it wasn't the second year, it wasn't the fifth year, right? I don't even like to say how long. So I'm not blaming people. I was there too. But when I ask people how much money you're making, they'll say something like, well, I don't know the number, but I know we're making money. And I'll follow up with the next question is, okay, how do you know you're making money? Because if
Because
you
they
don't,
just look at, well, it's money in the bank to pay the bills.
or they'll say, well, we're working a lot. We got a lot of big projects. The guys are busy. And they'll equal that with, we must be making money. But you can be busy and not make money. I mean, I did it for many years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so those are the majority of them. Some of them will straight up say, we're bringing in 2 mil, we're bringing in 3 mil, we're bringing in 5 mil. And say, okay, what is the net? Then they don't know that number. So there's a good portion that don't know what they're making, and there's a good portion that know what they're grossing, but they don't know what the net is. And I mean, 100% what's the most important number, the gross or the net, right?
Okay, you said some good stuff, and everybody knows just because it's season 3, we keeping it the same. We taking the notes. You said, and I quote, you can be busy working and not making money. Let's stay right there because, and of course, doing their accounting, being that fractional CFO, we see that a ton where, like you said, are you making money? You can be making 50,000, 100K a
Mm.
month, but when you're spending out of 100K $97,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder why, man, I don't know why I keep having to go get this merchant loan, or my credit card balances, I just don't understand. Or we made 100, but I don't know why it's almost never any money. I'm almost just seem like I'm breaking even. That's what he's talking about, the importance of knowing those. You have to have a more established plan than just, we have big jobs, we have some upcoming projects. What is the plan? What is the process? How are you going to attack these things so that it's not just break even, but it's no, we have cushion. We can afford to go a month, 2 months, and have that type of cushion if we were to get no jobs. These are the things that I know you're seeing as well as myself. So let's go to step 2.
Mm-hmm.
How do you now help them? Because they're telling you, I just know we're making money, and I definitely don't know, minus all the expenses and my pay, what we're doing. So your
Right.
next thing to tell them is what?
My next thing is going to say, okay, do you have a profit and loss that I can look at? Okay, that's number one.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Okay. All right, the bigger companies will have it, right? It may not be as clean as I'd like it. The bigger companies above, I would say 1 million have it. The smaller companies don't have it, right?
They just using that big old Excel sheet.
Yeah, they don't have anything. They're just making deposits and making withdrawals, right? So for the ones that don't have the numbers clean, then I'll say, okay, let's pull a couple jobs that you did, or let's pick a couple clients and let's do a job costing on those. So if I can take 5 jobs that you did and job cost those, the direct labor, the materials, put the overhead in the job costing. If you didn't make money on these 3 jobs that you randomly picked, it's probably a picture of your entire business.
Yeah.
Right.
Now
Okay.
let's slow it down, because I know for my non-numbers people, because I know I got agencies on here, other business owners. Let's slow that down. So in other words, he's trying to figure out, okay, you may not know your numbers. Let's just pick 3 jobs and see if they were profitable. How are we determining that? He's saying, for example, if the job was a $50,000 job and you had to go out and buy materials that were 20, so we're already at 30.
Yep.
And then what person did you assign to that? And how many hours did they work? Okay, let's say a person making $10 an hour, for easy math sake. I know y'all.
Mm-hmm.
$10 an hour at 40. All right, that's 400, but they did this one project the whole month. So let's just say 40 hours a week times 10. Yeah, you get where I'm going. Let's just round up and say that's 5K. So now we're at 25. But we had to go do that's what he's doing, so that way they can understand. Oh, 50,000. Because what do we normally think, right? $50,000. Oh, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
Yeah, but you had to buy the materials, the time to go out there and look at the project, the time to service the project, the time that you actually did it, all the calls you probably had to talk them through. All of those things count into it. So yeah, you may have made 50, but by the time you count all of the different materials, overhead, the time, the tech that you're having to spend to get it set up and map it out, you may have spent in total 70,000. That means you're negative 20.
Yep.
Now tell them what happens when you figure out, yeah, you're not making no money.
Okay, so that's my favorite part. Honestly, it is. And 9 times out of 10, that's what we see. So what I tell people is, because at that moment when you realize, hey, we just job costed 5 of your jobs that you handpicked, that you said you made money on, and we didn't make money on all of them. The first thing that happens is shame, embarrassment, a lot of that emotion of like down on yourself, man, I'm a horrible business person, I'm not making money. I tell them, no, this is the best possible situation for you, because now that you know it, there's a lot of room for growth now, right? It's almost bad if you come to me and you say, hey, there's no money in the bank, I'm working, I'm not making money, and then we job cost and all your jobs are making money. That's a harder problem than we job cost and we say, hey, this is simple, your pricing is too low. We can change that in one day, right? So I try to turn around that shame and that, hey, you're not making money, you're not this, to, hey, it's not that you're horrible, it's not that you're dumb, it's not that you're ignorant. It's more like, let's look at it as, this is an opportunity. We found it, we can fix it from today, right? So And usually that goes to pricing. Something like that is usually a pricing issue or an operations issue. And a lot of these things are easily solved, right?
Which, and we know that easy is relative. When
Yes.
we say easy, it's because we do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's normal for us. Versus, you have to understand as a business owner, you're a great technician,
Yeah.
but there are so many other pieces. There's the sales, the marketing, the operations and systems and processes, learning how to manage a team, the HR side, like getting coaching so that you can learn and offset these weak spot areas. All of these things are important. So, okay, let's keep going. So, okay, now you've identified that they aren't making money
Yeah.
or not as profitable as they thought.
Yeah.
You've now given them some solutions. What are some of the things after the solutions happen that this HVAC company should now be able to do because they have that type of clarity?
Okay. So now they're making money. We made the changes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then the next thing is going to be we have money, right? And there's a certain amount of money. Let's say we're making a 30% net profit. Okay.
That's pretty good.
That would be amazing, right? Let's say we go up to a 50% net profit.
They
Now,
balling. They are
that's
balling.
insane. And you know what that could mean? That could actually mean you're not spending enough to grow.
I
So if
agree.
we have a ginormous net profit, then I'm saying, hey, let's look at your marketing, your advertising. Are you spending anything? Right?
Which more than likely they are not.
Not. Or we can say, hey, you have a high employee turnover. You're losing your best technicians to the large giant companies. You have a huge net profit. Why don't we pay them a little more? Keep them. So it's not always about making the hugest net profit possible. Sometimes it's about taking a giant net profit and putting them into places in the business to grow it even more. Make
Oh
people
my
happy.
goodness.
Yeah.
I
So
love it. Did y'all hear what he just said? Because I know that can seem counterintuitive. It's not just about having a huge profit margin. Sometimes it's about reallocating those funds. Why is that? Because most of the time they have goals, right? Oh, I want to be able to step out the business. Well, it's cool that you got so much money in the bank, but you need to pay some of that out to get somebody that's just as good, if not better, to bring in other thought leaders. So, to
yeah.
your point, it's super important to know what are your goal or what is the goal of the client because every client's different. Some are more aggressive, some are more conservative. What do you want out of this business? What do you want out of life? What are your personal goals? If you're trying to buy a house, well, hey, it's great because you got a bunch of money saved up. If you're trying to hurry up and scale, we always tell our people, I'm not going to expect you to have a lot of profit margin because if you're trying to scale, I got the margin. I'm trying to hurry up and take a chunk of that and reinvest it back into
Exactly.
the advertising, the marketing, the ads, the SEO, and all these different things so I can put the gasoline on something that's working to
Yes.
get there faster. So that I hope y'all caught what he said. I hope y'all caught it. Okay, let's keep going. Now, one of the things that you talked about super brief, let's talk about wifey because you said y'all 20 years in the game. Now, let's go back in time. You said you started the company yourself, and before we handed it off to the firstborn, that means you were the one working it.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first started? Like, what was her reaction when you're like, babe, I'm going to start my own HVAC company?
You know what? Honestly, she's a really special woman. She just, so I'll tell you what, I was in the military. I was in the Air Force 6 years
Okay. Okay.
and I ranked up and was making a decent paycheck. I wasn't rich, but I could pay my mortgage and pay my car payment. And she was working at a daycare. And I told her, I went up to her job. I'll never forget. I had a 3x5. Remember those 3x5 cards, the little white ones? And I wrote down on one side the pros and the other side the cons. And I said, hey, I'm going to start this company. And all we need to make is $2,000 a month for a while, to pay all the bills. And she just kind of looked and she said, okay. And I tear up when I tell these stories because to have somebody to say, I trust you. And she said, okay. And we went the first couple years because I was not a good business owner, amazing HVAC person. I would call myself amazing. I was good at that, horrible at pricing.
Oh,
Horrible at pricing.
and I think that's super common, right? Like, I
Super
love
common.
that you said that. I was a great technician, but a bad business owner. Let's go and let's jump into that a little bit more because we just talked about it with the HVAC owner. I think we, for whatever reason, we think like when you start the business, you just gonna know everything.
Right.
No.
And
Tell
you
us.
want clients too. So the thing is, even from a marketing agency, you want clients, you need money, you want to grow, but you're scared to give the price that you deserve and that you need. So you end up with a bleeding heart. You want to help people. You meet these clients and you want to turn their life around, and you know, then you just end up doing it for a low price. And I get it. And, you know, I had a bleeding heart. I still do. But at the end of the day, it's about knowing, hey, I charge you $2,000 a month. I know I'm going to get that money back from that person. It's just a matter of asking them for the price. Now, you can't ask for the amount of money that you need and that you deserve until you've created likability and trustability. And that's an issue that happens with a lot of marketing agencies is you come in, you DM someone on Facebook, right? And this gets more into social media marketing. You just jump in. Listen, I own an HVAC company. I get 20 DMs a week from marketing agencies. All right. And it's okay that they DM, but what happens is I'll get a DM. I got one yesterday. It said, we can 3x your business revenue in 30 days. That's the message. No, hey, this is such and such. Hey, how are you? I see you. The message just says, I can 3x your revenue in 30 days. I'm ignoring that message, right? So once you create the likability and the trust, and you see that, you know, I see the person cares about me. I see that the person is a human. That's different now when you ask for $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month. You can't lean in for the kiss without getting to know the person. That's assault, right?
That is, they will get you for that in 2025.
That's an assault, you know, and it's so asking for the amount that you deserve without having a good conversation and knowing people is almost like an assault, you know? So, yeah, it's interesting. So I don't know how we got there, but that's the thing.
Because to your point, you were talking about you can be a great technician, but not a great business owner, and how everything you don't know what you don't know when you start. And so to your point, it's so interesting to have, and you know, podcast peeps like y'all, we know that y'all do the deal. We're not mad at the hustle. We've done it ourselves. But to his point, the point he's driving home is there has to be some type of rapport there before you go in for the sale, right? Before we try to say, hey, I think, and for all we know, that person maybe could have done it. Maybe I've never heard it, but I mean, 3x in 30 days would be like.
Well, you don't even know my numbers. So how do you know that you can 3x in 30 days?
You don't know my numbers. You don't know the type of person I am. You don't know my goals. You don't know if I'm conservative or aggressive. You don't know my cash flow. You don't know how much debt I have. You don't know if I'm married or single. Do I have kids? Like all of those things factor in. So we have to be careful when we market. Are we paying attention to the pains of the client? Are we being aware of what it is that they want? Or are we just trying to sell something and give you something that just seems like it's going to get your attention, but in reality, a seasoned business owner can recognize, like, really, bro? Right? So I love that, how you have to get them warm, build that rapport before you then go try to tell them how you can come save the day. Because as of right now, you don't know what they need. So let's go back to you with that one. Okay, you're growing the business, right? This is, you know, year 2, 3, 4, 5. What are those pains like? Because I'm sure after a while you find your rhythm, but at the beginning, before you got into that rhythm, before you increased prices, tell us about what those times were like with the wife and paying bills and having kids.
Man, listen, we were digging change out of the couch cushions, to buy groceries. Okay. And this is the kind of woman that I married. I mean, she was digging in the couch cushions with me. No complaining. We're just digging, right? So it's that kind of partnership helps, right? But, you know, we were doing that and then doing that and then doing that. And then, you know, the kids are getting older and older and older, about to the age where your kids are. And then I just got tired of it. Honestly, it was like, hey, I'm running a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a horrible business. I have clients, people like me. I got a bunch of 5-star reviews, but the money just isn't there. What in the world am I doing wrong? So I reached out actually to a coaching company, got on the line on a discovery call,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy straight up told me, he said, what would happen if you ended up in the hospital for 3 months? What would happen to your business? I said, it would close, because it was all dependent on me, right? And that just kept ringing. It was like reading the Bible. You read the Bible, and you get a scripture, and then you go to sleep, and it's just ringing in your ear, like ringing and ringing. I couldn't get it out. And that's really what changed me, to start thinking of it like a business, not a job. On a job, as long as I work, the money comes in. In a business, it's not a job. So I had to start.
Go into it. Go
Yeah.
deeper. Because I think some people, and again, we know this depends on where you are in your journey. For the people who are probably at 500K or more, you already know this. The people who are not, this is year 1, year 2, year 3. Listen to what he finna drop the gems. Go on and hit him with it. So tell him the difference between this is my job versus this is my business.
Yeah. So I think a job relies on you alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I work, I make money. A business is the opposite, right? Whether I'm here or not, the business runs. So right now I have a wonderful team, man. The person that does my office manager, I could not pay her what she's worth. I mean, she's just incredible. I left. Right now we're doing this podcast is January the 8th. I was gone all of December. Gone. I spent 10 days on a missions trip in Mexico. No signal, no internet, nothing. Right. Then after that was Christmas, and I was gone from the business for 30 days for December. Guess what? It ran, and it brought in a lot of money. Right. So this is now, though. When we talk about going back, I had to realize, okay, how in the world do I set up a business not depending on me? Number one, I need good people. Right.
Ooh,
and I was a one-man show at that time. It was just me. My business was just me. So I need good people. How do you get good people? You got to pay them good. How in the world can I pay someone good if I'm not charging anything for my services, and I'm giving away free services, and I'm doing extra things without charging people? So the first thing I did was raise my price. I raised my prices 7 times in a 2-week period. 7 times.
7 in a 2 week? So that's like every other day.
Yep. Because this is what I did. And this is what I teach people. Okay. So I was at my HVAC company. I was charging $50 an hour or something crazy like that. You can't have a business doing that. My numbers actually showed my billable hour should have been $322 an hour.
Ooh, now, that's really specific.
Right. So I'm good on the numbers. That my number one thing is pricing. That's my number one skill. So for me, mentally, this is what happens as a business owner, and you know it, and all the people that you talk to and you consult, I see it from the people I consult. But not only that, I sat in the seat. My mental state as a non-business owner, I was just a guy who was motivated. I was confident. I had a supportive wife, but I had a lot of mental limitations from where I grew up, the neighborhood I grew up in, all of that, right?
Okay.
So $50 an hour to go to $322 an hour, I thought that's robbing people. Nobody's going to pay for that. They're going to curse me out when I treat it. All of this was, I call it head trash. Trash doesn't belong in your head. It belongs in a trash can, right? But it was all in my head. I had to take it out and put it in the trash. But I remember what it's like to go from 50 to 322. What I did was I started charging $75 an hour.
Okay.
Then I noticed, okay, I spent all day charging $75. Nobody blinked an eye. So then I raised it again 2 days later to $125. Nobody blinked an eye. Then I raised it again to $175. No one blinked an eye. So that's what I tell people when I consult is, hey, I know I just ran your numbers. The numbers you gave me, the expenses in your business, This numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. This is how much you need to charge, but I'm not telling you to go out and start charging this right now. Just try with one client. Just raise it a little bit. I guarantee you they won't blink an eye. And you know why? Because you know that there's big agencies and there's big companies that are charging 3 times what you're charging. You know that. So then why would they blink an eye at you? The only reason you think that is because your own mental limitation of your view of yourself.
Ooh, right. He cooking. Okay, let's stay right here because you hit something super key that I think a lot of people ignored. I know I myself ignored until like you said, I got that coaching. You talked about mental hurdles from the past. The environment. Explain that to us, like how your environment can shape how you view money. You don't realize it, and now it's time to make. Because to your point, $50 an hour is a lot to a lot of people. To be fair,
Yeah,
like a lot of people be like, "Shoot, if I'm making $50 an hour, yeah." When you're the technician,
right.
when you're the one doing the work, as
Right.
the technician that's hooking it up, pouring it, fixing it, that's a lot. But to your point, as the business owner, gonna break it down for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, my HVAC company, my insurance is $3,000 a month, right?
Ooh.
That's for my insurance because there's nothing more dangerous than cheap insurance policy. Okay. Right. So, but you have all of those things. And then you have, when you talk about good people, right
That
now,
one of your 2 points, good people.
my technicians right now in the position that I'm in, it took me a long time to get this way when it came to hiring. I can pull up any job site right now and I can drive to that job site. I can guarantee you those technicians are there. They don't call out, they don't no show, they don't do any of that. But I have to pay that kind of person a good amount of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And if my margins are small, I can't afford those people.
Which is
right?
what you were talking about earlier with the high turnover.
Right. But there's a good amount of clients that don't care about price. They care about their safety. They care about comfort. They care about their time being wasted. Those clients exist. And if you cater to them, you can charge the money that you need. And we're not talking about that you want. I don't charge $322 because I just want to be rich. I charge $322 because the numbers, my insurance is $3,000. My technicians are right. So we're not just trying to just inflate the numbers. But if you are concerned about price and you're the cheapest person out there, you're going to get interest from people who only care about the price. Right? But if
Say that one more time. Say it one more time. That was deep. Say it again.
Yeah. If you are the cheapest company, you're going to get interest from clients that only care about the price. And if they only care about the price, there's a pretty good chance the only thing they know is price. They don't know about value provided. So when you're providing an incredible amount of value, they don't even know what that looks like. But the company that knows value, these big companies that agencies are trying to touch and reach, these $5 million companies, $7 million companies, I've coached companies up to $12 million annual, right? They know what value provided is. These are seasoned business owners. So when you communicate to them, hey, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, we've done this for this person, we've done this, they don't care about the price because they know how much that you can provide. They're only listening to the price. And those are the worst type of customers. You know that. Right? So, yeah. I mean,
okay, see. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go, right here. All right, so they don't care. There are certain clientele that don't care about the price. They care about comfort, safety, and quality, and that's who you need to be targeting. That's a big gem. And then if you are the cheapest company, chances are you are going to only get people that care about the price because that's all they know.
Yeah.
I think that was I hope y'all got that. Like, those are 2 different types of marketing. Those are two different plans of
Yeah.
attack of how you position and brand your business. Like he's trying to tell you as a just that's really any business that those things are important. So I really hope that they don't care about price, they care about comfort. Because I know like that's my wife now. Now back when we was in like year one, year two, to your
Hmm.
point, when we didn't have much, you gotta do what you gotta do. I gotta find the cheapest. I just need the
Yeah.
problem solved.
Yeah.
But now she's like, I want the right experience. I want it to be done correctly. I don't want some janky,
Yeah.
just halfway done with like the cheapest stuff. I want it to be where it's something of quality because quality will last longer. And we got kids. If it was just me and
Yeah.
you, Cam, we kind of thug it out a little bit. But we can't do that. We got 2 girls and a baby. So no.
And they
So
don't,
I hope
yeah.
y'all heard that.
Yeah. And they don't, these companies that are going to pay you like clockwork every month, those are the companies that they only want to know, are you going to do the job, Cameron? Am I going to have to come in and start doing my numbers and doing my financial or are you going to do it and I get to go be gone in December? I'm not going
And
to be gone in December and come back and find out you didn't do anything. Right.
And oh my gosh, that is so good because we've signed, I don't know how many people between October and now, but a lot of them are saying that same thing. Hey, I don't know why, but I can't get in touch with my last person. Or I'm having to go in there and do all the stuff and I'm paying them something. But to your point, we've also learned that price is a big part of that. If you're paying somebody $250, well, they may not be the best.
Right.
you
Right.
know but to your
Right.
point, okay, hey, we're not that, like you said, hey, we used to back in the day, we ain't know no better, that
Yeah.
wasn't. But now, like you said, the tech, we want a quality team, we want to give you a quality experience. No, we're not going to do that. We have touch points and all these different things, so I think that's so important to just keep. I just really love that you said that because that is so important. Nobody wants to hire you. Like, I don't want to hire a plumber and then after you leave, my sink's still linking and it still looks shaky and suspect. Like I just wasted money. I'd
Yeah.
rather pay a little bit more. You're gonna come in, but that thing gonna look nice. I don't see no dripping. You cleaned up. You put the little scrunchy thingies on your feet when you go in. Like I like that. Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
So man, that was good. Okay, now we gotta go rapid fire because we're getting close, and I know you're a busy guy. Um Let's see, what's the right questions that I want to go into? Okay, let's ask these questions. Rapid fire, 30 seconds. Top 3 things you would tell a HVAC company to not do in order to get to $1 million.
To not do. Okay, I would
Don't you
say.
do it. Don't you do it.
All right,
What you gonna tell them?
I would say don't spend all your time in the truck fixing things. You need to work on your business, not in your business. Number 1. Number 2, don't give away your services for free. Your services are valuable. Number 3, don't only rely on word of mouth. You got to market yourself. You got to pay for marketing.
Okay, I like that. All right, next question. If you could go back in time to the college or high school version of you, what would you tell yourself knowing everything you know, like present day right now in 2025, but you only get 30 seconds to go back? What do you tell them?
Okay, I would say, so if I only have 30 seconds, I'm going to say, Michael, you are going to fail a lot. You are going to win a lot, but you're going to do great. You need to keep pushing forward. When you fail, figure out why you failed and then try again. And then when you fail again, figure out why you failed again and then change that. Because failing and things breaking are the best way to find out why things fail and why things break. So don't give
Okay.
up when you fail. Just keep moving forward.
Okay. What are 2 or 3 things that you do on a pretty consistent basis that you would contribute to your success?
Okay, number 1, I have an invisible book, right? And if I open my invisible book, rule number 1 is I trust God. And everything I have is by the grace of God only. That's number 1. That's in my invisible book, rule number 1. Rule number 2, I don't take no for an answer. right? I will not be denied. If I call Cameron and he says no, I'm going to call someone else and he says no, and I'm going to find someone that's going to give me a yes, and I'm going to work and create a relationship with the people that will give me a yes, right? And number 3, solve as many problems as possible. The thing of it's not personal, it's just business is a big lie. Business is personal. People are people. Be good to people and they'll be good to you back.
I like that one. Business is not personal. You said it is just business. Yes, it is. I like that because I agree with that. Oh no, it's just business. No, because if you really like me, you wouldn't have did that, or you stay
Yeah.
with.
All that means is it's not personal to you. It's business only to you, but it's personal to that other person. Right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap this up. All right, y'all. This is the Michael Johnson. All right, let's go over the high points. Son working on taking over the business at 19, still in college just because he wants him to have something extra just in case he changes his mind. A couple of things that he notices when he's working with other business owners in the home service industry, not knowing their number, like what's their revenue or their net income. One of my favorite quotes from today: you can be busy working and still not making money, or you are scared to give the price you deserve and need. How do I grow the business without me? These were things that he did to get him where he is. He noticed I need good people, and my prices are not where they need to be. I'm charging as if I'm just a technician, being self employed versus being a business owner. He recognized also that he had mental hurdles from growing up and how that can limit your earning potential. I love this one. They don't care about price. They care about comfort, safety, and quality. That's the type of client you need to focus on. Yes, you may not have 70 million sales, but the quality 500 you do have, you'll be able to be more profitable. If you are the cheapest company, chances are you only are going to get people that care about things that are cheap. And then the top 3 things to not do to make $1 million: don't spend all your time in the truck just fixing stuff. Don't give away services for free. And don't only rely on word of mouth. Diversify your marketing. With all that being said, tell the people if they're like, man, I like this guy. He's cool, family guy. I'm in North Carolina, or I just want to work with him. Tell them how they can reach out to you, what socials, website, the whole 9.
All right. So I say the best way to reach me is to go on YouTube and type Michael James Johnson, right? Because there's another Michael Johnson that's famous. He was a track star. He wore gold shoes, right? So if you type Michael Johnson, you're going to find him. He can't help you. Michael James Johnson HVAC. If you type that in, that's on TikTok, Michael James Johnson, YouTube, Michael James Johnson, Instagram, Michael James Johnson. You type that name, you'll find me, message me, and we can start a conversation.
There you go. So see, I told y'all, we just because we're in season 3, we still gonna hook y'all up with some dope people that are concerned about helping you grow, that wants you to win, that wants you to succeed, that have done it the hard way and are willing to tell you, like, hey, don't do this. I've done it. Look, do it this way to help you. So, guys, with that being said, we are so excited to be in season 3. Our job is to keep finding great people like this who can just share the wisdom of their story and their journey. So until the next episode, we'll talk to you guys later. Take care.